Hey there, Pretty Plant Girl here. I'm in my greenhouse today, and it's busting at the seams as far as available shelving to put plants on is. And it's only the middle of April. I have a lot of plants in my house still that are going to all need to be coming out here in the next month until they can get planted out into my landscape and garden. So I need to finally do what I've been thinking about doing since I built this greenhouse over a year ago, and that is build some more shelving to go along this wall here and some on my opposite wall as well, so that I have more space to put these plants, because I've added 2 wire shelves this winter, and they hold quite a bit of plant 10 by 20 trays here, and I have one small shelf or workbench right there. I could put a few more plants down there on those little boards that I've strung across the supports. And over here I have another workbench shelf with some more plants on it down there, but that's not enough. So I need to get building. Yesterday I went out and I picked up some lumber, I drew up some plans. I'll show you a quick shot of the plans here. I don't know if they'll make sense to anybody but me. They're just a quick little sketch, nothing formal. And I need to get out to the garage, get some boards measured, get some boards cut, and start screwing these things together so that I can get some more space for plants in my greenhouse. So that's my plan for today, and we'll see, probably go into the next couple of days here, depending on how my day goes. It's already late afternoon, but I'm gonna get started. So come along, I'll show you hopefully what I'm doing here, and hopefully we'll get some benches to put some more plants on in this greenhouse very soon. So first I'm just gonna measure to make all my cuts. So for making a 6-foot long bench that's 18 inches deep and 2 feet high, I just have it measured off to cut 72 inch or 6-foot long boards. I need 2 of those. I'm going to have a board going down the length of the center as a support bar. That's at 69 inches. I have 2 15-inch pieces measured off here for the end pieces of the top. And then I have 4 24-inch sections cut, measured for the legs. So I'm going to get the saw set up and get this wood cut, and we can see how this goes together. Okay, so I've just brought the pieces that I cut out to my backyard, to my patio here. It's just, once I get it put together, it's going to be somewhat heavy, so I thought it'd be nice if it was a little closer to where it's eventually going. So hopefully I did all my calculations correct and all my measurements correct, and I've got it all cut and ready to go here. So So I have my 72-inch two side pieces. I think this was 69 inches to go down the center. And these are my 15-inch end pieces. And put that all together, and we should have approximately 6 feet long and 18 inches deep, because even though these are called 2x4s, they're actually, the dimensions are actually 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So when you add the 1.5, the 1.5, and the 15, that gives you 18 that way. And of course, 72 inches is 6 feet. So just need to screw it all together now. So I'm just going to put 2 screws in the ends, 2 screws into each end of that, and we should have a tabletop put together, and we just need to put the legs on. Just want to make sure everything's nice and flush. This board's sitting just a little bit low, so let's put a little screw under there. Get this one started, and then I can get into place. Okay, so I have the basic frame together here. Now before I get this board in, I'm wondering if I want to just do the legs now before there's not as much room to work in there. So right now I can move this out of my way. So that's what I'll do. I just remembered I had this ugly piece here that I wanted to be the bottom, so I'm going to take those out and flip this over so I can put it that side going down. Okay, so now we have a tabletop, 4 legs on. We just need that center support. And really, it might not be super important to have that center support in there, except that those 10 by 20 trays can get pretty heavy. And some of my trays are a little bit smaller than that, so I want to make sure I have good support down the middle for anything that I might throw on here. I haven't decided yet. I've put mesh over some of my other tables, a wire mesh. I'm not sure I'm going to on this one. We'll see if I can be happy with it just with the center support for me to wind up putting that mesh on it as well. Let me look at this board. Yeah, there's, you see that kind of ugly notch there, so I'll put that to the bottom. The other side looks pretty good. Okay, let's see how we did. Looks like a table. It's a little wobbly here, but patio's not perfect, and I didn't worry about getting the legs absolutely perfectly straight. In fact, there's a few boards with some real wows in them. That's what I used to the legs, because the greenhouse floor isn't perfectly flat and level anyway, so I'll have to move some gravel around not to get it nice anyways, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm gonna have to stick this in the greenhouse, and we'll go from there. I have to move, I have a big planter bag full of soil that's wet and heavy. I'm gonna have to pull out of the way, and we'll see if we can get this set in there. See how it fits. So there's the planter bag. It's on a tarp. It's all muddy in here. I'm not sure how easy it's gonna be to get it yanked out of here, but I'm gonna try and do that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put it back in here or not. I'm just not sure. I really like this fabric raised bed. I'm just not sure how I want to utilize it in my garden now. But I'm gonna need rubber boots because I don't want my runners in there, and we'll see what we can do here. Okay, that was a lot of work, but I managed to get that raised bed out of there. You can see there's still ice down there because the soil in that bed was insulating the ground, so still frozen underneath that. But I think I have room to get that table in here now. It's going to be really tight and close. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it squeezed into this space without moving this table here out. So I think just proactively I'm going to move this out of my way for right now, and then I can put it back after. But it'll just give me more room to move that other bench around. Okay, so hopefully this gives me enough room to get that finagled in, because it's actually going to hopefully fit back in to here. I might need to move this bench over a little bit, but I think it should fit. Let's see. I think I need to close the door. And just hit my head on plant trays that are hanging out. Okay, so the ground's still frozen, so I won't be able to really level it perfectly right now, but we'll get tucked back a little bit more here just to get this bench that you're actually sitting on out of the way, and then we'll see how well that worked. Great. So you see the two benches there. So I decided to go with a little bit lower height on the next one, and then just build another small one that I can sit on top, just to make it a bit more modular, to move things around a bit more. And like I said, I have the wire mesh on top of this one. And at this point, I haven't decided if I'm going to put it on there. It's expensive, and I'm not sure I need it. And I do have lots of these little slat boards. I could throw a few of those across there if I needed. But for now, I'm going to see if I can just get away with just this. And let's grab a tray. Here's some anemones. Looking nice. And there, it fits just exactly how I expected it to. So they're hanging out a little, about this much on either end, because they're 10 by 20 trays, and this is 18 inches deep. But that's how they are on my plant shelf in my house. And it's much better than the hanging over, I don't know, 8 inches, 6 inches there, that they are on this shelf here. These shelves that I made back here are actually, I think, 20 inches deep, but it just seems unnecessary because when I'm not using them for plants, they're just taking up that little bit extra space, and that might seem nitpicky for that extra couple of inches, but this isn't a huge greenhouse. It's a nice sized greenhouse, but every extra little bit that I can get counts for something. And I'm trying to work around some already existing shelving and workbench and things, so this is how I thought would be the best way to do it for me. So I'm happy with that. That's awesome. So I can take these ranunculus right now that are up high and aren't getting the best light and put them down there, and they'll be able to get more sunshine. And these trays are properly supported by that center bar right now. So I don't want to really load this up because I am planning on making another shorter bench to go on top of there. And I want room to finagle that without having to redecorate everything again. But that makes me happy. So I am going to get to making the smaller benches. I will maybe when I get everything cut and ready to put together, I'll just show you the dimensions of the lumber that I'm using real quick, but it'll be the exact same process of putting it together, just on a slightly smaller scale. And I'm happy with this so far, so hopefully the rest all fit as well as this one did, and I can have lots of great shelving for my greenhouse. The smaller ones, I won't have the center piece going through because they're only going to be 10, I think in the end they're 10 inches deep, so they'll fit the trays this direction. So that's just a little bit more shelving that way. I don't get as good of sunshine on the other side of my greenhouse, so I won't have as many trays over there. It'll be more things that want a little shadier spot, a little less light. And I just didn't want to take up as much room in the greenhouse for that. So they won't need that center support, I don't think. And I probably in the end will wind up, I do have a little bit of wire mesh left over, and I'll probably wind up running it across the top of those tables, and then they're just easy if I want to throw pots or things on them. This will hold them on there so they don't fall right through. I guess I need to get to work getting the rest made. Okay, so I cut all the rest of the wood. So I have 2 little benches that are just going to be 4 feet by 10 inches. So one here, and then I have one that'll be 6 feet by 10 inches. So this one behind me will go on top of the bench that you just saw me build. The other 2 will go on the west side of the greenhouse, and they'll just stack on top of each other, or they could sit side by side, however I want to use them. And again, that's why I wanted to build the benches this way, so they're a little bit modular and I can kind of move them around, take them in and out of the greenhouse easily, and just use them as I need them, instead of having them built very specifically for one purpose. And then off to the side here, I just have a whole stack of 24-inch boards cut for the legs. These will all be 24-inch tall little boxes. So they're going to go together the exact same way as the other one. Well, I got the shelving finished. It's been a few days. I haven't been working on it for a few days, but you know, weather, life gets in the way, but I finally got it done, so I'm going to share it with you here. So I have the 6 foot by, what was it, 18-inch depth shelf here that it's 2 feet high. They're all 2 feet tall. And that was the one that I built with you. And I did decide to put some chicken wire on the top. I was using it and, you know, grabbing trays, and I'd pull them, and then even though with this support bar they'd still kind of tilt, so that just to be on the safe side, I just threw some chicken wire just to kind of make sure I don't dump anything. But it fits the trays perfectly, just the way I expected it to, so that's great. I think I haven't checked to see exactly how many I can get across with the top shelf on now, but I think I'll get 5 across here now, going in the long direction like this. And then I got the 6 foot long by, I think it's, 10 inches deep shelf done here. And I put hardware cloth across the top. I decided to do that just to again, just make sure I'm not tipping any trays or anything. And then these narrower trays, I think they would have fallen through otherwise. So that just gives that a little extra support. And then I also got the 2 4-foot shelves that are 4 foot long and 10 inches deep, and they're just on the other side of the greenhouse. I'll show those to you in a minute. But I did have a couple of problems, I guess one real problem with these narrower shelves, and that was the stability with the leg design. So right here is that narrower shelf, and you can see the legs, doing them in the same way that I did the wider shelf, you know, one leg on each corner facing in that direction. They're like that, and that just wasn't very stable. But I just cut another piece of 2x4 that's 10 inches wide and put it at the bottom, and that seems to afford a bit more stability. Now with the chicken wire, it's still a little, I don't know if you see, I can wobble it. I'm doing that with my fingers right now on purpose, but it's a little wobbly, but I think it'll be okay. If not, I can always get like some little hooks or something just to hook it to the shelf below, just to give it that little extra security if I get concerned. But I think they're good enough like that. So that's what it looks like there. I have an extra board here just because I was using up the hardware mesh that I had, and that was as much as I had left. So I just put this board to fill that gap there. That's all it's there for. And there you go. So to make the 10-inch deep shelf, you would cut 2 boards, whatever length you want. This is the 6-foot one. And then over here are the 4-foot shelves here. And so they, whatever length you want for the length, just cut 2 boards that size, and then you'll need 2 boards to sandwich between them. Which is this board here. You'll need 2 that are 7 inches. And then you can do, on this one I just used 1 24-inch on either end to make the leg. It's not as stable as with 2. So that's your choice. You can either use two 2x4s cut at 24 inches, 1 for each end, or you could do 4, so you have 2 at each end. And then you'll need 1 cut at 10 inches for the bottom piece there, just to give it a little more stability, just a little wider. Gives you that extra kind of stability this direction and that way. So that's your choice on how you want to do those. And then if you want the hardware mesh or chicken wire just to go over top, just, you know, give the trays a little extra support. And then you can set tools and gloves or whatever on top and they won't fall right through. So that's how I did it. If you're going to do the hardware mesh on the sides, I've done it a few different ways in the past, and I used to always just fold it over, and then this makes kind of a bulky piece that can kind of catch on your clothing in that. Whereas this time I cut it off, and most of them I actually cut back 1 more notch, I think, but maybe not. And then cut it back on this side and just folded them over and trimmed these pieces as best I could. And that worked well. But I'm happy with those shelves. That gives me room for, like I said, that's the 4-foot long ones give me 2 10x20 trays across the tops there. Or sometimes I use trays like this, so they'll sit on there as well. And I'm happy with that. That just gives me that little extra space. And that's the west side of my greenhouse, so it wouldn't be, like right now my ranunculus is sitting there just because I've been moving things around, but as you can see, it's kind of shaded this time of day. So that would be more for plants that don't need a lot of sun. And then that's one of my existing benches I already had. Here's another existing bench that I had, and I've just put wood across the bottom, just on those support beams, just to give a little extra shelving when I need it, and then I can take it out when I don't need it. There's the 18-inch deep shelf with the 10-inch shelf on top of it. Lots more storage. Lots more trays can go on there. I think that adds, I think it'll be about 8 more trays, 10x20 trays that I can get on there. And then I also put up some wire shelving that I bought at a secondhand store this winter. So lots more space in here than I had last spring when I was getting plants going. And I'm really looking forward to, as you can see, I already have quite a bit in here. Lots of ranunculus and anemones, pansies. My petunias are out here. I just cover them if it's going to get freezing out at night still. We haven't gotten below -5 for freeze at night, so I'm not too worried about that. I have some status, my celery, nigella, yeah, that's status, straw flower, amobium. So lots going on and growing out here. So I'm really happy having all this extra shelving in here, and like I had stated earlier in the video, you know, building it this way where it's not attached to the greenhouse and the tiers aren't attached to one another, I can easily pull them out as I'm getting ready to harden plants off and have some shelving out in front or beside the greenhouse or wherever I want really, and use it out there to provide me with the shelving I need outside. And I think that's the best way for me. Like I think I said in the beginning of the video here, I went through a lot of options in my brain, drew out a lot of different plans, and just trying to figure out what would work best for me in this space, because I just wanted to build it once. So hopefully this is the best iteration of things and I don't have to go doing it again. But so far I'm happy with how it turned out. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this design. What would you have changed? And if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up and let me know, because I don't do a lot of videos about like building things and making things for my garden, but maybe it's something you guys would like to see more of. So let me know down below in the comments or with just a quick hit of the thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.